Hey, Grimmy here, and for this video I want to talk about this recent announcement in the Dragon Ball Legends News tab, changes due to planned May version updates. Let's just break it down really quickly, I don't want to waste too much of your time. Thank you for your continued support of Dragon Ball Legends. In anticipation of Legends' 7th anniversary this May, we are planning a large-scale version update schedule with updates beginning in May. So, right off the bat here, I just want to say that it's pretty unclear and kind of ambiguous in a sense, how exactly these updates are going to be rolled out relative to the 7th anniversary. Are they going to come out before, maybe at the same time? It's kind of unclear, though some updates are being rolled out or will be rolled out before then, I'd imagine, because that's how I'm reading this. With these updates, many aspects of the game's systems as well as its system requirements will be changed or adjusted. This notice covers a portion of the changes and adjustments being made in May 2025. The first thing would be, I think it's a pretty common information if you have been reading the news. Dragon Ball Legends is increasing its system requirements. And so they're basically essentially upping the minimum operating system version, as well as the memory required from 1.6 gigabytes of RAM to 4, which is a pretty big leap. And the best part, I think, comes right here. Although this means raising the required device specifications, the Legends team is looking into new characters, battle expansions, graphical updates, and much more that will justify this decision, which I think coincides really well with what I talked about in my previous video, talking about why I really dislike Ultras and how they haven't really been maximizing that minimum requirement. And I think with this additional bit of news, I think that we are well on the way towards a new version altogether of Dragon Ball Legends, a Dragon Ball Legends 2 within Dragon Ball Legends, essentially a whole new quality level for characters, especially in terms of aesthetics. I think they can definitely play around with that, and talking about graphical updates, right, I definitely think that character effects are going to be enhanced with this, especially with newer releases. So it is something to look forward to, and I'm actually pretty excited about this. On top of that, we also have an overhaul of the in-game UI. In this upcoming large-scale update, we will be overhauling the UI on a scale that sets it apart from previous updates. The update simplifies access to tons of content, which we've been expanding since the game's initial release. Check back later for details when more information is revealed. I think a lot of people are sometimes, in many cases, especially in the past, when Legends has decided to make a change to the UI, people are initially very much against it, but over time, obviously as you get used to it, the change does actually, you get used to it, it grows on you, right? So I think while on announcement, I guarantee that people are going to say that it's ugly, and I don't necessarily think that it's because it is, and it's more along the lines of, people, or a radical change is obviously not very welcome. Sometimes it's important to blend familiarity with novelty, and a lot of times when you overhaul a game's UI, you don't really get that sense of familiarity much at all, and it leans more towards novelty, right? You want to bring in more of the new stuff, a completely new design concept, and because of that, people kind of get caught off guard. But I'd imagine that if this drops on the 7th anniversary, we'd have until like the 10th, I'd imagine, before we ever see another UI change. So, eventually we're going to get used to it. It's fine. Like, a new user interface is always welcome, and, it makes the game a bit more refreshing, in my opinion. On top of that, here's a pretty big update here. Simplifying character upgrades. The Soul Boost system will be removed to help streamline the character upgrade process and improve playability. This is big news, right? To think the soul boosting system has been there since day one, and now we have just received news that it's going to be completely removed from the game. Is crazy. And I want to really form an opinion on this, but it's kind of tough. In the past, I remembered when I was just a new player, soul boosting wasn't the easiest thing because getting souls, souls weren't exactly very accessible back then. You need to actually grind for the resources in order to fully soul boost a character. Nowadays, as a much older veteran player, soul boosting isn't nearly as difficult. It's very a one and done, and you go into the soul boosting page, you clear everything, and then you get out. And it is actually very interesting. For this, Awakening Z power in order to gain the benefits of your character's Awakening rank, which is also insane. An insane rework for Zenkai characters as well. But the thing that I'm most interested about is soul boosting is an integral part of building a character in this game, right? It's been an integral part for 6 years. And so when they remove this, how are they going to kind of apply the effects of soul boosting? Is it just going to come for free? Do you just get 3 equipment slots instantly unlocked? completely maxed out arts levels, not arts boosts, but arts levels, the additional power level just being attached to the character right away. I think that would be really nice. And again, it would definitely help to reach this goal of improving playability and streamlining the character upgrade process. I absolutely think that it's a step in the right direction, but it's going to be an interesting process, I think, to adapt to that change, because again, I've been used to the soul boosting system for a little under 5 to 6 years, so this is definitely a pretty big change. On top of that, character parameters and abilities will remain unchanged. So souls will be revised to coincide with the removal of soul boosting. The existing Rising Souls, Super Souls, and Zenkai Souls used for soul boosting will be removed and replaced with new souls. And so again, this is also kind of unclear in my opinion. I definitely don't understand fully what this means. Are Rising Souls still going to exist with a different purpose? Just with a different name? Are they going to make a one-to-one exchange on that? Or are they just going to be completely removing that, and now the Zenkai bonus battle, for example, and every single soul bonus battle is just completely useless and has zero value? It's kind of made unclear here, so hopefully by the time this update drops, I do hope that they can really clarify regarding this information. I guess we should just move on. Details of changes. New souls for equipment upgrades and arts boosting will be added. So they have souls for the other use of souls, obviously more than soul boosting, would be to upgrade equipment and arts boost. So they're obviously adding new souls for that, and the costs for equipment upgrades and arts boosting will also be adjusted. So I guess they don't really want to make these souls as common as the current souls. I guess that's what they're trying to say. And they want to try to adjust that value, considering that obviously they're overhauling the soul system overall. So we're going to be seeing new souls for this. There are going to be new ways to acquire these souls, so they definitely want to adjust how often you're going to get them, how much you actually need to upgrade a regular piece of equipment and to perform a regular bout of arts boosting. So, I mean, this is just regular stuff, and it's to be expected. Bonus battle stages for existing souls will be replaced with stages that award the new souls. Again, what happens to my Rising Souls, my Super Souls, and my Awakening Souls? Are they just going to be deleted from my account altogether? I don't really know. But, you know, obviously we're going to be seeing a soul stage for equipment upgrades as well as arts boosting. It's still unclear whether they're going to be on different stages, but, you know, I guess that's something that we got to wait and see together, I guess. On top of that, relevant main story rewards will be replaced with the new souls. Again, they're just replacing what's already available. And event story rewards, same thing, will no longer drop the existing souls. Relevant mission rewards will be replaced with the new souls. Again, that's perfectly normal. And souls currently in your possession may be exchanged at the recycle center for the new souls. I guess I should put the text that I'm reading to the center, not the top, just so that it's easier to read. To coincide with the removal of soul boosting, missions related to a soul boost and class up in Z missions and certain event missions will be removed. Please claim relevant mission rewards as soon as possible. It's like that they told you this, right? I've already completely gotten done with erasing characters to a certain class, as well as unlocking boost panels for specific characters, so I don't really need to worry about this mission. But what's really nice here is that not only do we get an early warning from the news page, but they're also going to give us a day limit on the mission text by the time that this update is on its way to roll out in the very near future, which it isn't at the moment, so you're obviously not going to read that just yet. Job request adjustments, right? So this is for adventures, right? Job requests. After careful consideration of in-game demand and the removal of soul boosting, the following job requests will no longer be available. So again, there are obviously certain job requests that provide souls, and they're going to completely get rid of that. And they're also going to be removing job requests that drop Zenny, because again, there's a billion different ways to acquire Zenny. Nowadays, we use the gold bars and gold bar stacks, which are just way more valuable, and they're just much easier to get, to be honest. And so this makes sense. And what's surprising for me here is that there's actually some people who want soul boosting to be removed, which is interesting. It's just that I've been so used to it that I've never really thought about it. But if you really think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense to imagine that a large part of the player base wouldn't want it, because again, it's just too complicated. It makes things more complicated than it needs to be. So yeah, this is actually interesting information for me. Job requests obtained before the update will be usable until their expiration date, which is nice. Some of the following content will be affected: some of the main story, event stories, daily missions, go for it, intermediate missions, raiding match, training battle, treasure battle, and hyperdimensional co-op. Now, obviously, we don't have the job requests that they regularly drop, so it'll be interesting to see how they make adjustments. Again, it's something to look forward to in the future. On top of that, selectable login bonus changes. The selectable login bonus, it's the screen with Bulma and the 9 different rewards that granted your chosen item on the following day will be changed to a fixed login bonus that gives you 10 chrono crystals on the same day. Users with the Legends Pass can receive additional items along with the regular daily login bonuses. As a result of this change, you will not be able to receive login bonus items selected the day before the update. We apologize for this inconvenience and ask for your kind understanding. It's literally 10 chrono crystals, guys, don't get worked up about this. And I think this is actually a pretty nice change because most people aren't actually logging in to get additional items. I guess for a small part of the community, especially whales, who obviously buy their way into getting their stash of chrono crystals, why would you ever need to get 10 from a login bonus when you can just buy like 5,000 from the shop? But I think for a large part of the player base, you know, obviously chrono crystals are far and away the most valuable thing you can get from that login bonus. Maybe you can make an argument for like slot removers, but that's only if you're like an equipment rerolling maniac, which not everyone is. Raid event reward adjustments. Raid event damage rewards will be removed to help speed up screen transition times. We plan to increase rewards elsewhere to make up for the lost damage rewards. I don't exactly know what they're talking about, to be honest, because, I mean, I guess... No. I actually don't know what they're talking about here. I guess if they're trying to, is it like the damage milestone? Is that what they're trying to say? If that's the case, that's obviously a shame. I mean, a large part that makes raids so fun is that it's a globally cooperative piece of content, right? People from basically the entire community get to take part, and in that cooperative participation, you obviously get rewards together, right? With the damage milestone that's cumulative for basically the entire game. And so I guess removing that is obviously going to be an interesting change in how we see raids, but I guess, you know, it's an interesting change. We'll have to wait and see how it's actually going to be implemented before we can really cast judgment. Some mission changes. Some requirements and rewards for beginner missions and go for it intermediate missions will change, which is, I'd say it's a 50-50 thing. Like, I don't really touch beginner missions and go for it intermediate missions anymore. I think a lot of players don't, especially not new players. And so I guess I don't really know how this change will affect me necessarily, and I don't really know how this change will affect a large part of the player base who are already playing the game and are no longer on beginner missions and intermediate missions and have already cleared that stage of the game. So are they just going to reapply it for everyone? I think that would be fun. A lot of times these beginner missions do actually provide a decent amount of rewards because it is fine-tuned for newer players. So I mean, if we get a bit of that extra rewards, you know, a bit of those extra rewards, I definitely look forward to it. And in terms of other changes, requirements to unlock certain events and content will be changed. Will not affect events or content that have already been unlocked. So I don't really know what they're talking about here. We don't really have locked content other than certain pieces of content that have keys, right, that you can buy with rare medals. So I don't really understand what this specifically means. And removal of bonus battle EXP, which I think is perfectly fine because it doesn't even provide that much EXP, and it's basically an outdated piece of content for grinding. And we don't really need that anymore, considering how many golden bells we have, how many silver bells we get with each update, how many options there are to actually level up characters. I do think that to kind of shift this, I definitely want to see a Let's Fight 4. I think it's about time that we got a Let's Fight 4, to be honest. It's just, we've been waiting too long, and I think a way to get a character from 0 to level 5,000 would be awesome with a Let's Fight 4. You know, that's just my suggestion though. In addition to those announced in this notice, we also have other adjustments and changes planned for May updates. There's plenty more coming as part of this ongoing massive version update plan beyond May, and it's sure to be exciting, so be sure to keep an eye out. The Legends team will continue to work hard at creating a fun and exciting game, providing you with the best experience possible. We hope you continue to enjoy Dragon Ball Legends team. So I mean, like, okay, it's a pretty interesting set of announcements. Obviously that means we're going to be basically flooded with a plethora of changes to the game, which is in a way exciting and in some cases very confusing. And you know, in most situations, I guess it does leave a lot of the player base curious because they only leaked a small amount of information. They didn't really give away too much. So again, like, we have to really wait for these updates to be implemented before we can actually jump in and start really judging how well these updates are going to turn out and how they affect gameplay. One thing that I want to talk about additionally, though, is the fact that they're actually going to change character text, character kit text. Did you guys notice this with Yamcha Zenkai, right? So if you go here and you look at Yamcha, where can I find? Right here. This is another thing that I want to talk about. Yamcha is a completely different character, not because his kit changed all too much, and it's more towards the text. The text for his effects are just completely different. Look, physical blast, impact, inflicts heavy bleed on hit, 30% chance. This is fine. Look at this on hit. You can see how different it is from a regular character. Panzerfaust, Mr. Handsome. You can see that they're using bullet points now, similar to Dokkan. And I think it's a pretty good change, even with the Zenkai ability and Z ability as well, which is very interesting. And I think that for future characters, they're obviously going to be implementing this change. It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to apply this to all characters, because there are a couple hundred characters in the game, more than that, I'd say. And if you want to change the formatting of each of those characters' kits, it's going to be a pain in the ass. Let's just be real here. But I do think that this is actually a really good change, and hopefully they keep it as is here, because it's, again, an awesome change. It definitely simplifies the way we see a character's kit. It allows people to understand a character better and understand how to play the character better, because, you know, you obviously catch more of the kit a lot easier. This is nice. It makes things shorter, and then it's easier to understand as well. This is actually an interesting change. I'm surprised they didn't mention this, but I do really like this change, and hopefully they do talk about this at some point in the future, in like a future YouTube video, just to, you know, clarify how this is going to work, how wordings are going to change. But again, just another change that's interesting to look at, I guess, relating to the bigger changes that are coming in May. But what do you think about those updates? The removal of soul boosting and the various other changes that I mentioned in this video? Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Don't forget to subscribe so that you're notified whenever I drop a brand new video. And if you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this one. Bye, thanks for watching, never stay perfect, always get better. Peace.